Imagine a Chicago summer so suffocating, so relentlessly hot, that even the city's hardened criminals felt the pressure. Sweat-slicked brows, desperation hung in the air thicker than the humidity, and in the smoky backrooms and sweltering streets of 1934, John Dillinger, America's most wanted, was running out of air. He was public enemy number one, a phantom menace to some, a folk hero to others in a nation strangled by the Great Depression. But even legends bleed. Cornered by a relentless tide of federal agents, Dillinger was about to learn that betrayal could wear the most seductive shade of red. This isn't just a story about a gangster's demise. It's a tale of desperate deals, a city on edge, and a crimson dress that sealed a notorious fate. Prepare to step back into the shadows of the 1930s, where legend met brutal reality on a hot summer night in Chicago. The year was 1934. America was gripped by the Great Depression, and amidst the economic hardship, a different kind of outlaw rose, the glamorous gangster. John Dillinger was their undisputed king. Banks trembled at his name, law enforcement scrambled in his wake, and the public, disillusioned and struggling, was strangely captivated by his daring defiance. But the law was closing in. The newly empowered Federal Bureau of Investigation, under the steely gaze of J. Edgar Hoover, had made Dillinger their prime target. He was a symbol, and they needed to bring him down, publicly and decisively. Dillinger, ever the chameleon, knew he needed to vanish. Plastic surgery became his desperate gamble, a crude attempt to erase his infamous features, to carve a new face in the hope of outrunning his past. But notoriety is a stubborn brand. Whispers followed him like shadows. He fled to Chicago, the city of broad shoulders and even broader criminal horizons, adopting the alias Jimmy Lawrence, a name as unremarkable as the lives he was trying to infiltrate. There, in the anonymity of the city's underbelly, he found solace, and perhaps a flicker of genuine connection, in the company of Polly Hamilton, a waitress pouring coffee and dreams in a city running on empty. Unbeknownst to Dillinger, his fragile sanctuary was built on shifting sands. Polly Hamilton's landlady, Anna Companas, a Romanian immigrant also known as Anna Sage, was living on borrowed time in America. Chicago's underworld was her playground and her prison. Rumors swirled around her, whispers of brothels, illegal activities, a life lived on the fringes. Deportation to Romania, a distant, almost mythical land she'd left behind, loomed over her like a guillotine. The FBI, sniffing opportunity, saw her vulnerability. They approached her not with threats, but with a proposition, a lifeline disguised as a deal with the devil. Imagine Anna Sage, caught between the iron grip of the FBI and the precipice of exile. She was a survivor, a pragmatist, perhaps even a little ruthless. Her American dream was fading, and Dillinger, the notorious gangster hiding in her boarding house, suddenly became her desperate ticket to redemption. An exchange was proposed, information for immunity, betrayal for a chance at a future. For Anna Sage, the choice, however morally fraught, became tragically clear. She would offer up Jimmy Lawrence, the man known to the world as John Dillinger. July 22, 1934. The air hung heavy, promising another scorching Chicago night. Anna Sage, her heart a knot of conflicting emotions, made her move. She contacted the FBI, the bargain sealed in the currency of whispered secrets. The plan was set: Dillinger, Hamilton, and Sage would attend the Biograph Theater, a grand movie palace on Lincoln Avenue, a beacon of escapism in a world demanding gritty realism. The film, Manhattan Melodrama, a crime drama ironically mirroring Dillinger's own life of high stakes and impending doom. The irony, thick as the summer air, was undoubtedly lost on Dillinger. To ensure foolproof identification in the dimly lit theater crowd, Sage made a crucial promise. She would wear an orange dress. Orange. In the deceptive glow of the theater lights, orange transforms. It deepens, intensifies, morphs into a blazing, unmistakable red. This seemingly minor detail, a splash of color in the black and white world of crime and law enforcement, would forever brand her as the woman in red, a moniker that echoes through history, synonymous with betrayal and the fall of a legend. Melvin Purvis, the ambitious and media-savvy special agent in charge, orchestrated the operation with meticulous precision. Federal agents, a silent, unseen army, discreetly surrounded the Biograph, melting into the evening shadows, their presence masked by the anonymity of the theater-going crowd. They were ready. They were waiting. The stage was set for the final act. As the credits rolled and the lights slowly brightened, the audience began to filter out onto the sidewalk, blinking against the sudden transition from cinematic shadows to the harsh glare of the Chicago night. Purvis, positioned strategically near the entrance, held a cigar. The innocuous smoke, a prearranged signal, a silent command indicating Dillinger was in sight. Dillinger, always on edge, his senses honed by a life lived on the run, instinctively felt the shift in atmosphere, the subtle tightening of the net. His gaze flickered towards Purvis, a fleeting moment of recognition, of dawning dread. He knew. Instinct screamed danger. Instead of heading north with a dispersing crowd, Dillinger attempted to melt into the throng, veering south on Lincoln Avenue, a desperate, almost imperceptible change in direction. But it was too late. The agents moved. The night air erupted in gunfire. Chaos descended. Agents surged forward, closing the gap. Dillinger, caught in the crossfire, made a final, futile dash towards a dark alleyway, a narrow passage offering a phantom promise of escape. It was a sprint for survival he was destined to lose. Bullets ripped through the air, finding their mark. One shot, fired with deadly accuracy, entered the back of Dillinger's neck, a brutal severing of the spinal cord. It exited just below his right eye, extinguishing the spark of defiance that had burned so brightly. He crumpled to the pavement, his reign of notoriety ending not with a blaze of glory, but in a violent, ignominious heap on a Chicago sidewalk. In the immediate aftermath of the shooting, an almost morbid spectacle unfolded. The crowd, drawn by the gunfire and the unfolding drama, surged forward, not in horror, but in a grotesque fascination. John Dillinger, the untouchable outlaw, was now lifeless, tangible, and chillingly accessible. A feeding frenzy of morbid curiosity began. Onlookers dipped handkerchiefs, tore pieces from clothing, and plunged them into the pooling blood surrounding Dillinger's body, collecting macabre souvenirs of a legend's final moments. The body was quickly transported to the Cook County morgue, but even in death, Dillinger remained a spectacle. Word spread like wildfire, and thousands upon thousands of people, driven by a mixture of morbid curiosity and perhaps a strange sense of respect for the fallen outlaw, lined up for hours, snaking down city blocks, just for a glimpse of a corpse. The sheer volume of spectators underscored the deeply ingrained public fascination with Dillinger, a figure who had, in life and now in death, captured the American imagination. Justice, in the case of Anna Sage, proved to be a cruel mistress. Despite her crucial cooperation, the promised clemency remained elusive. The FBI had gotten what they wanted: John Dillinger. Anna Sage, the woman in red, was no longer of use. She was deported to Romania in 1936, banished to the land of her birth, living out her days in relative obscurity, forever branded by her role in Dillinger's demise. The reward for betrayal was not freedom, but exile. Melvin Purvis, on the other hand, initially basked in the limelight. Lauded as the man who brought down public enemy #1, he became a national hero, a symbol of the FBI's growing power and effectiveness. But the adulation was fleeting. Purvis, a man accustomed to the thrill of the chase, found the desk job and bureaucratic grind of the FBI increasingly stifling. Professional jealousies and personal demons began to gnaw at him. In a tragic twist of fate, the man who had orchestrated Dillinger's death took his own life in 1960, a stark and somber epilogue to the Dillinger saga. Even in death, John Dillinger refused to be easily confined to the annals of history. Almost immediately, whispers of doubt began to circulate. The man shot outside the Biograph, some claimed, was not Dillinger at all. The FBI, desperate for a win, under immense public pressure to capture their elusive prey, had made a mistake, or worse, intentionally eliminated a decoy, allowing the real Dillinger to slip away, to vanish into the mists of anonymity, to live out his days under a fabricated identity. These theories, fueled by discrepancies in eyewitness accounts and minor inconsistencies in autopsy reports, gained traction, feeding into the romanticized image of Dillinger as a cunning escape artist who could outsmart even the most sophisticated law enforcement. Fingerprint analysis and contemporary forensic evidence overwhelmingly confirmed the deceased's identity, but the whispers persisted. To this day, calls for exhumation and re-examination occasionally surface, a testament to the enduring power of the Dillinger myth and the public's inherent distrust of official narratives. The question, whispered in hushed tones, did John Dillinger really die that night? Or did he orchestrate the ultimate escape from death itself? John Dillinger's death was more than just the end of a gangster's life. It was a pivotal moment, a turning point in America's understanding of crime, law enforcement, and the very nature of heroism and villainy. During the bleak years of the Great Depression, figures like Dillinger were often romanticized, viewed as modern-day Robin Hoods, rebellious figures challenging a system that had seemingly abandoned the common man. They were anti-heroes born of economic desperation, symbols of defiance against a seemingly insurmountable adversity. However, as Dillinger's exploits escalated, as his crimes became more brazen and violent, public sentiment began to shift. The romanticized image began to tarnish, replaced by a growing unease. The FBI's successful operation against Dillinger, therefore, was not just a victory over a criminal, but a strategic public relations triumph. It bolstered the FBI's burgeoning reputation, transforming it from a relatively unknown agency into a powerful symbol of federal authority, efficiency, and unwavering resolve. The Dillinger case, alongside others of the era, served as a catalyst for the dramatic expansion of the FBI's powers, paving the way for the sophisticated crime-fighting techniques we know today. Decades after his violent demise, John Dillinger remains firmly etched in the fabric of American culture. His life and death have become fodder for countless books, Hollywood films, and ballads. He is often portrayed as the charismatic outlaw, the charming rogue who dared to defy authority, a figure both feared and strangely admired. The Biograph Theater, the unassuming site of his final moments, stands as a landmark, a silent witness to history, drawing tourists and history buffs eager to walk the same sidewalk where a legend met his end. John Dillinger's story continues to resonate, a dark but compelling chapter in the American narrative, a lens through which we explore enduring themes of crime, justice, rebellion, and the complex, often contradictory, soul of American society during a tumultuous era. Intrigued by the shadowy world of organized crime and the larger-than-life figures who shaped its dark history? Want to delve deeper into the clandestine narratives that continue to ripple through our modern world? Then journey with us into the hidden corners of history. Subscribe to Inside the Secret World of Mafia Titans on YouTube and unlock a vault of untold stories. We unravel the mysteries, expose the deceptions, and unveil the truth behind history's most notorious crime figures. Join our community of history enthusiasts and explore the secret world that shaped our world. Click subscribe and step into the shadows if you dare.